Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. In this video, today we are going to discuss signal transduction in the effector cell. Let's start first of all by discussing about synapse. In this figure you can see we have a structure of axon. So this axon is making a synapse with another, or we can say with the second neuron. So the terminal end of the axon, of the first axon, it is known as the presynaptic membrane, while the membrane of the second neuron is known as the postsynaptic membrane. So the presynaptic membrane, it is the membrane of the first neuron from which the neurotransmitter molecule is being released, while the second neuron, it has the postsynaptic membrane which consists of the receptors. Between the pre and postsynaptic membrane, we have the synaptic cleft. As a result, synapse क्या है? Actually, synapse, it is a region between two neurons where one neuron is sending its impulse to the other, or we can see it is a process in which an impulse is transmitted from one neuron to another neuron. जो आप इस फिगर में देख सकते हैं, जो साइनैप्स है उसके हेल्प से जो फर्स्ट न्यूरॉन है वो रिलीज़ कर रहा है न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर, और ये न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर सेकेंड न्यूरॉन के रिसेप्टर पर एक्ट करके एज अ रिजल्ट एक्शन पोटेंशियल कॉज करता है और सेकेंड न्यूरॉन को एक्टिवेट करता है. ये याद रखना है कि दिस साइनेप्टिक ट्रांसमिशन इज़ एक्चुअली अ केमिकल ट्रांसमिशन. इसमें जो एक्शन पोटेंशियल है वो डेवलप होता है फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इन द फर्स्ट न्यूरॉन, वो स्टिमुलेट होता है. उस एक्शन पोटेंशियल के रिजल्ट में जो है एक न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर रिलीज़ होता है साइनेप्टिक क्लेफ्ट में, और फिर वहाँ से वो पोस्ट साइनेप्टिक मेम्ब्रेन के रिसेप्टर्स पर बाइंड करता है, एंड अगेन फिर इट रिजल्ट्स इनटू द स्टिमुलेशन ऑफ द सेकेंड न्यूरॉन. सो आपको ये समझना है कि जो न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर होता है, जो न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर मॉलिक्यूल है, एक्चुअली वो एक सिग्नल है, और जो रिसेप्टर होता है वो उस सिग्नल का डिटेक्टर होता है या ट्रांसड्यूसर होता है. बाय ट्रांसड्यूसर वी मीन दैट वो ये इस सिग्नल के मैसेज को आगे फॉरवर्ड करता है या ट्रांसमिट करता है. सम ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट clinically important neurotransmitter are mentioned in this figure. Remember that all of these neurotransmitters, they have specific receptors on the target cells, and those receptors even have more subgroups that we will discuss later. Now we are going to discuss this figure. This figure is actually a summary of the neurotransmitters released, the types of receptors and types of neurons within the autonomic and somatic nervous system. Let's start by discussing this figure, and first of all we are going to discuss the preganglionic neuron and the neurotransmitters released at the presynaptic membrane. In case of sympathetic system, we have to remember that the sympathetic system response, it is triggered both by direct sympathetic activation of the effector organs and also by the stimulation of the adrenal medulla to release epinephrine and norepinephrine, as you can see in this figure. Epinephrine is released 80% by the adrenal medulla, while norepinephrine is released 20% in case of the adrenal medulla. Now अगर हम देखें कि जो प्रीगैंग्लियोनिक न्यूरॉन है, यहाँ पे हम प्रीगैंग्लियोनिक फाइबर्स, ना उनका शॉर्ट लॉन्ग वो कुछ डिस्कस नहीं कर रहे, ना ही इस फिगर में शो हुआ है. प्रीवियस वीडियोस में मैंने आपको बता दिया था उनकी डिटेल्स, जो कि इस फिगर में आउटलाइन नहीं है. यहाँ पे हमारा मेजर फोकस है द गैंग्लियोनिक ट्रांसमिटर्स रिलीज्ड. ओके, द कॉमन ganglionic transmitter between the sympathetic and parasympathetic system is acetylcholine. आप देख सकते हैं कि acetylcholine जो है प्री गैंग्लियोनिक न्यूरॉन का न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर है. इन द 3 cases, sympathetic innervation of adrenal medulla, sympathetic direct sympathetic stimulation or parasympathetic stimulation. So the preganglionic neuron is going to release acetylcholine which is its neurotransmitter. And as we know that every neurotransmitter has a specific receptor on which it acts. Acetylcholine is going to bind to its receptor, and the name of this receptor is known as Nicotinic Receptor, which is present on the postsynaptic membrane of the second neuron. See the nicotinic receptor present on the postganglionic neurons. When the message in the form of acetylcholine, or we can say the signal in the form of acetylcholine, it binds with its receptor, nicotinic receptor, and the nicotinic receptor is actually a detector or transducer, and it further takes the message ahead. Now it stimulates this second neuron known as the postganglionic neuron to release a neurotransmitter. Now this neurotransmitter is different in sympathetic and parasympathetic system. The neurotransmitter released by the postganglionic neurons of the sympathetic system is norepinephrine. We can also say noradrenaline, and that is why this system is known as adrenergic system. On the other hand, parasympathetic system is releasing acetylcholine, and this system is also known as cholinergic system. This is actually the basic distinction between sympathetic and parasympathetic system. Sympathetic system, postganglionic neuron releases norepinephrine, or we can say adrenaline, while the parasympathetic system releases acetylcholine. When we look at the sympathetic innervation of the adrenal medulla actually releases 80% epinephrine, or we can say adrenaline, and 20% norepinephrine, or we can say noradrenaline, into the blood. This neurotransmitter or neuroeffector transmitter, either it could be norepinephrine, epinephrine, or acetylcholine, it's going to bind with its specific receptor present on the target organs or affected organs. Those organs could be heart, could be kidney, could be the eyes, any of them. In case of epinephrine or norepinephrine or sympathetic system, we have adrenergic receptors, and in case of parasympathetic system, we have muscarinic receptors. In case of somatic system, this neuromuscular junction is found between the somatic skeletal motor nerve ending and the skeletal muscle which it supplies. At the skeletal muscles, they are supplied by the somatic motor nerves. The neuroeffector transmitter in case of somatic system is also acetylcholine, that acts on the nicotinic receptors of the skeletal muscle.